can't unsee what you see.
It's happy hour. Okay, we just day drink.
So when we talk about you gambling and having an issue,
This is what we're talking about. Do not buy another JVA warranty until you've looked at the Caddie Workmanship Guarantee Program.
We're kicking ass and taking names, apparently.
Caddie Shack. All right, here we are. We made it. We're at Mexican Oak.
it actually exists.
We are.
It's here.
We are a couple weeks away from opening.
I love that we say that.
So excited.
I think we have a staff of like 2 right now or 3, and that's going to go to 75 here in the next month or 100.
I think more like 100.
And you think we're ready? We're 2 weeks away, huh?
We'll see. We'll see if we're ready or not.
Yes.
When we open the door, we'll see. I guess.
Yeah, for those of you who have watched the pod before, you know Brandon and I. This is Chef.
Hi.
Chef
Hi,
George.
everybody.
He's the man, obviously over at the Barrel and getting all the menu and everything set up over here at Mexican Oak. So we're excited, and we promised that we would shoot our next pod from here probably twice, maybe. But we've made it happen today, even though there was a lot of construction going on. So. Big shout out to the guys that I think you gave them like $20 to go get some beer and chill for a minute.
$20.
Yeah.
Doesn't buy you a 6-pack. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Well,
It needed to take a break. It was a little louder than we thought. So
yeah, well, and hence the delay in doing this podcast. I was like, we'll be ready for it next week. Just like we're saying we're going to be open in 2.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
always optimistic, but still trugging along.
That's all we have. Optimism.
That's it. That's what it's about, right? Being optimistic.
I'll tell you, this is my first time to see the place. It's up here in Denton
What do you
Square.
think?
What do you think?
And it looks phenomenal. I mean, we had lunch here, a minute ago. It felt great. I felt like it was,
Not
it
cooked
was the
by
real
me.
deal.
Not cooked
Yeah,
by me, but
the kitchen's not open yet, but it was awesome, man. This place looks incredible. You guys have done a phenomenal job just kind of looking around at some of the stuff, and we'll share some video clips of the place. But from the minute you walk in to seeing the bar back here, and we'll have the painting over there, and then you've got all the stuff in the back, the upstairs and everything. It looks phenomenal. This place is great. You had a great shell, I think, which is helpful. We'll talk, get into that. As far as if you're ever wanting to open up a restaurant, things to think about. In fact, we were just talking about it as we were kind of standing here waiting to shoot, and it's like, man, the shell of this place was great. It was, it seems like it was a lot easier to put together for you than the Barrel. So, talk about that. I mean,
night and day different. This was let's talk Barrel first, and then we'll talk about what this is.
Yeah.
So when we took over the Barrel, we took over a old wine bar, and we thought that we were very little experience in the restaurant space. Yeah. And we thought we were getting
a hotel restaurant degree, but didn't use it much.
Shout out Oklahoma State HRAD.
Yeah.
But no, we took over a space that we thought was a second generation restaurant space, and it turns out that it did not have anything. I mean, we had to put Venahoods in. We had to get those vented. We had to saw cut the entire slab and run all the plumbing and the grease, all of it. Like, it was crazy. So it was so much work. In fact,
that bar was in like the middle of the dining room.
Yeah. Yeah, which we had to move. So that scope of work was actually probably greater than this. So I guess, kudos to the people that had the space before, because they did a beautiful job with all the big stuff. The bones of the bar were really good. We redid all the back bar, but the bar was good. I love the exposed industrial look of the space, which when we share pictures, you'll see it. And so really it was coming in and freshening it up. And then, Chef, we can kind of talk through that. So the build out was much better. It was more efficient. We knew what we were doing. Right. We're certainly thinking about how we, put together the restaurant in a different way than certainly we did with the Barrel when we first opened, because we just didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I was not there when you first opened the Barrel.
Yeah.
But I can imagine all the steps you went through by listening to you.
Yeah.
That you went through. Here, it was a lot different because, like you said, the bone's already here. Mm-hmm. The structure is already here. The staff that is bringing this together is the vision that you and your wife and everybody else has.
Yeah.
To make it look this pretty.
Well, and don't give me too much credit. I would lean on Morgan. She's really.
I think it was a couple of trips to Cabo that also helps the
And
inspiration over there for those guys. Yeah,
tequila and Cabo.
Yeah, that's the only thing we're missing from this process is a little inspiration trip.
Well, like I said, we need to go to Mexico City so we can just walk around and get more ideas for the next
Oh,
one.
yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, the more time I spend there, I fall in love more and more with Mexico. I love the culture. I love the hospitality that's just built in naturally to the folks that are there. I mean, it's just the most hospitable place I've ever been, and so hopefully we can do some of that here.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to show through our, taking care of the guests. Just it's how we're going to put it together.
Yeah.
The food, the care that we're going to put in the food. I mean, we're going to start everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be. We're going to put some love into it.
Yeah.
Just the way, like Mexicans do in Mexico. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to do for sure.
Well, and it's. I see it with the barrel. This is why I was so excited to have an opportunity to take over a space like this and do it with you.
Right.
And it's because you do put everything into your food. And, that's one of the things that we've been having a lot of conversation about is how do we do the barrel and this while overseeing 2 restaurants? And, it's going to be a challenge for us, but it's an opportunity. And so super excited about that. And speaking to the quality of food, I mean, hopefully folks would agree, we try really, really hard at the barrel to do everything we can to provide the best, service, but more importantly, the best products that we can. And we don't talk about that enough. I don't know if it's just not in our nature. I'm not. I post on social media quite a bit, but I don't get out there and talk about what we're doing enough. But you go back to things like, using beef tallow, for example.
Right.
We were talking about doing the beef tallow stuff a year ago, and we made a switch, almost that long ago. And so we didn't go and promote it as much, and maybe that's a shame on us, but we believe in it and we want to provide the best, so we just did it, right?
Right. It takes time to research everything, from one idea to put it together, going to different vendors, going to different people, try to get the right stuff for us.
Yeah.
And put it there for the people of the barrel.
Yeah.
Definitely. But once it's in your head or in my head, we just have to go through it and get it done. Just like this place.
Yeah.
It was in your head, and look at it. Look at
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Well, and just not cutting corners, right? Like with everything we do, and I hope the people that are, our customers of the barrel, our family at the barrel, understand that that's what we do, because we're doing the same thing here. So let's talk a little bit about, the food side. This is going to be a much more food-focused restaurant, I would say, than the barrel. The barrel started out as a wine and whiskey bar with a food concept that kind of evolved into just, if we're going to do food, let's do it the best.
When we opened, when the barrel opened, we was like, okay, we have to have food because it was during COVID or right after COVID. And so, it was, let's do the wine bar.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
well, we got to have food.
Scope creep.
So then we got a chef,
so
and then
you
the
don't get in
chef started
trouble.
adding all sorts of food in there. And then
Yeah.
the kitchen came in, and that's why the kitchen, I think, is, not as robust as I think you would want it to be. And that's,
Right.
you're getting
Yep.
that here, obviously, but
Right. I think that food here is going to be the same quality as the barrel. I think the barrel has a beautiful food,
Yeah.
has a beautiful items, a beautiful raw stuff, that we're going to bring here. And even though you just had to put it there just because of the bar or whatever, we're going to start a restaurant here based on the food, based on the actual ethnicity of a plate.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going through,
And I'll tell you, some of the wine tastings we've done at the barrel, I think you've brought some of the, I would say, menu style probably that you're going to carry on over here to some of the wine dinners that we have over there. And I think it's my favorite ones, right? Some of the food you've done there.
I think that's what made Brandon open this place. The actual Mexican theme wine dinners we had once a year at the Barrel, which is in September.
Yeah.
And we do the Mexican Heritage wine dinner, and I think
It's bomb.
Yeah.
That's what you love. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
it is what I love.
And that's what opened the door for this place.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm excited about this.
Well,
I'm glad you like it.
Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah, this place is incredible. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
when we were doing this, so when I, saying that it's more food focused, I'm not saying that the barrel's not food focused,
Right.
it's very food focused, but this one gives us the opportunity to get more creative. It's a bigger kitchen, and let's talk about that. So,
We're gonna have a tortilla maker right
yeah,
now.
I mean, yeah, we've got
There's a tortilla room. It's a whole room dedicated for tortillas. Yeah.
And grilling meats.
yeah,
Yeah.
we-
Why is
And
that to
gr-
like?
yeah, and the
Why is
grill,
that to
yeah.
like?
Yeah,
You know?
well, and that's what we did here that's different. So, with the barrel, we started with the front of house, and we looked at what would make it beautiful and all that. And the ambiance is huge. Like the experience is that's a big part of the experience. But here, what we did is the first thing that I noticed when we were, looking at the space and eventually taking the space over was, it's like the kitchen needs a lot of work, like a lot. I mean, we didn't have, proper floor. We didn't have stuff that drained. Like it was in
rough shape.
It was in rough shape.
Yeah.
It was a 10-year-old restaurant.
That's what happens when this
Yeah.
restaurant is running for so long.
Yeah.
And when the restaurant runs for so long and it's not taken care of, well, you ended up with that stuff.
Yeah.
You need to be able to care. Everything that you do has to care in order to bring a superb product to the guests.
Well, absolutely. And at the heart of every restaurant is the kitchen. And so what we did, and that's no knock on anyone that was here before us or anything like that. It's just, it's a 10-year-old restaurant that,
Yep.
needs a lot of maintenance and perhaps didn't get it at the very end or something. I don't really know the deal there, but we started with our focus on the kitchen. So the spin for us started in the kitchen. We got rid of all the old equipment. So everything that was there, scrapped.
Everything is new for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Never seen it before.
Brand new, just for you.
Out of the package.
Yeah.
And that's something.
I mean, and I love what the guys did. So we got all new equipment. The first thing we did was we started with the floor, right? That was a big, for those that have never opened a restaurant, there are some crazy big expenses that you take on that you don't necessarily get credit for. We're in the air conditioning business, right? So it's similar to air conditioning. An air conditioner's, $10,000 or close, and boy, that's not something you see or think about every day, but you sure feel it, and it's important.
It's like when you pay for I'll never forget on our first house we bought, we had to fix the foundation.
Yeah.
And then some of the old, lead pipe underneath it or whatever. And, it's like a $10,000 check that you're writing that you never see. You
Yeah.
walk over it,
Yeah.
but you never see it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Same with the AC.
Yeah, same with the AC.
Same with
And-
the floor here.
Well, and the floor, right? And so in order for us, and maybe this is I think this is a shared vision, but in order for us to have pride in what we're serving and feel really confident about it, we needed to do a couple things, and the kitchen was the first thing we had to address. And so we laid all new floors. I don't know. I think it was probably $15,000 in just labor to get the floor down. Maybe I overpaid, so I don't know. But either way, I got it done. But we laid a new floor. We then took everything out of the kitchen and we put new stainless in. We fixed the stainless. Just full blown. We started there. We put a beautiful quartz island in for expo and for a prep area, and so I think that's important because, again, going back to the AC thing, not all the guests are going to see that. Although I hope you come in and we're more than happy to show you.
Please, whenever you come here, ask to see the kitchen.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it, for you to see.
Well, it's what we did at the Barrel when we created the speakeasy and we allow people to walk through the kitchen
Inside of the
effectively.
kitchen, right, yeah.
The whole idea is, one, it keeps us accountable to have something that's show worthy.
You have to clean it.
Got to clean it.
yeah.
And we want to share that. And I've got an overarching, vision with all the companies to be overly transparent with what we do, whether it's pricing or whether it's the quality of food. And so here, we want to be transparent. We want you to see where your food comes from, what the quality ingredients we're using are, you can come in and see how they're, preparing it. If we're breaking down a fish, you can see that.
Yeah,
If
see
we're,
that for sure. Everything I'll put our hands on it. That's gonna touch your plate. We want you to see it.
Yeah.
We want you to see that. We use gloves, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right. We wash your hands.
yeah, if a
right?
food inspector's
Well,
watching this, we definitely use gloves.
I think that's kind of one of those, I'm not going to call it new things, but like if you're I watch a lot of food stuff and we go to California a lot. In fact, we all went to the Napa area not too long ago, a few months ago. And that's one of the things that's been very prevalent in, what I'll call kind of that higher end restaurant now is that you're getting access to the kitchen. The kitchen is becoming almost as important or more important than the front of the house, which is kind of the main dining area, what they call in the restaurant space. But at the back of the house, the kitchen is a showpiece, right? When you look at like, the French Laundry, when they redid that whole thing, it's like they made the kitchen badass. And like you can go in there, you can see it. In fact, when we went, I think you went back and got a picture in the kitchen or something. But they were closed or whatever. You creeped in there and got it.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
Please
dude,
don't kick me out yet.
who is this dude peeking through the windows? He jumped the fence. Okay, here he comes.
He's like, I'm a chef. It's okay.
It's like, so you call yourself a chef, huh? Okay, we're gonna put you to work. All right.
But
I'd love to do that.
but no, I think it's one of those. I think it's kind of that newer trend or whatever, somewhat newer maybe over the last 10 how many ever years. But I think it's a good one. I think it's good to be able to show off.
I think
the kitchen.
Restaurants like that, like the French Laundry, people with big name chefs are the ones that open that for us, for everybody.
Yeah.
To see that that the food is high quality, that the kitchen is clean and showy, not just pretty, but actually well kept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's
Well,
what we do.
you made me think. Speaking of big chefs, I don't know that this is the first pod. I'm laughing seeing you in headphones and on a mic.
Yeah.
My dude's ready to rock here.
wow.
But speaking of big chefs, let's talk about you and some of your background. This is not
Okay.
about us. It's
Well.
Charlie Palmer's a pretty big name, right?
Charlie Palmer. Charlie Trotter. Is that what you-
Trotter.
Right.
Talk
so
about some of this.
right after finish college, I had the opportunity to work with Charlie Trotter as an internship. I worked there for 2 months. I met some cool people. That's when I learned how to treat the food right. That guy has so much inspiration, so much pride, so much. I mean, he taught everybody a lot, not just me, everybody in there.
Talk about who he is. Like, talk about
He
not that
is
it's about him,
like-
but
He is like one of the first Michelin star chefs in the country, like the very first one in Chicago. He owned the Charlie Trotter's company, and he was ahead of his time.
yeah,
He was ahead of his time. He was a guy who was the first to put demi-glace with fish, which is unheard of. It's a bone. It's an animal bone sauce that is made with fish. Who would have thought of that?
yeah.
How to drink red wines with fish. Nobody thought of that. He was the one guy who will take all his kitchen to Europe and travel Europe in the wintertime or on the summertime to try to create new dishes. That's the mentality who Charlie Trotter was. Trotter's was a huge restaurant. He's no longer with us. He passed away about 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. But I mean, he was a great leader to the chef community in Chicago, and I think all over America, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It was at the same level as Mr.
TK, Thomas Keller.
Thomas Keller, about the same deal.
Yeah.
It's a good guy.
Yeah.
It's a good guy. Thanks to guys like that, that's what makes our job cool.
Yeah.
To be honest.
What was he one of the guys that was like? And I think maybe he was this way, so I don't know. But was he throwing the plates and yelling, or was he like?
No, he was not like that.
When did that become such a thing? Because I don't see that.
It became such a thing maybe about.
Feels like that was a lot of the New York City style. Like, I don't know, maybe just because I watch a lot of Anthony Bourdain stuff, but it's like, I feel like that's where it gets.
All the old school chefs, they had their temper.
Yeah.
They had their
Yeah.
temper for sure.
Well, it's a high stress
Oh,
environment.
definitely. But to the point where, they throw plates at you and calls you out. That's a big deal. I'm not like
Yeah.
that. Fortunately, I didn't pick that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still.
I don't know
I can
if the
still
food
tell
runners would
people.
agree with that.
But not to the point to actually hurt somebody.
Yeah.
It hurts. So I'll throw a plate just to make sure it doesn't hurt anybody.
Hit you in the head. But yeah, I think chefs, like you said, they're just passionate at what they do.
Yeah.
They're always stressed, and when things don't go right, when it's supposed to go right, I guess that's what escalates the actual, problem.
Yeah.
I think that was most of the old school chefs. Right
Yeah.
now, everybody has a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
A way of thinking, and they just go straight forward to be a better chef every day.
Yeah.
That's the thing that is for sure.
So let's keep going. So we worked with Charlie, and then and maybe I'm not giving enough respect. I should probably call him by Mr. Trotter.
Mr. Trotter,
But so you started there, and then from there, what's your journey?
From there, my journey was I started in country clubs in Chicago. Then I went, like I said, I had my time with Charlie's Kitchen, and then I moved to Texas. Talking about over 20 years. Yeah, I came as fast as I could.
What brought you here? What brought you to Texas?
An ex-wife, believe it or not.
Okay.
A girl. So I
As
got
they
married.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
I got married, and her parents moved to Texas, and she wanted to stay away from her parents, so we moved to Texas. And then I started working for restaurants here and steakhouses. I worked for Michael Thompson and Michael's restaurant for 18 years.
Let's give a shout out to him. I mean, he's owed that. He is a hell of a well-known.
He is a well-known restaurateur. Actually, they call him the granddaddy of Fort Worth cuisine. And then I moved to, I went to India. I worked in India. I worked in Dubai. I worked in China. I mean, I've been around.
Yeah.
I've been
Been
around.
around. Yeah.
I've been around learning
Yeah.
a thing of two. And then I came
Yeah.
to Texas, where
Yeah.
it's home.
Yeah.
You know, I met some great people,
Yeah.
that gave me the chance to start something really cool right here.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we just blew over this global influence you have on some of your history, and I love it. Like, you have seen it all, and what I love so much about working with you and you is your passion for food quality and for doing things right and being good to your people is amazing.
Well,
and it translates, right? You can feel it with the staff, the environment, the ambiance. It's incredible.
Well, thank you,
And
thank you.
I guess,
mean, everywhere I go, I give 100% for sure.
Yeah.
And if you give me a chance to be a part of this, I'm going to give you 120%.
well, and that's where I'm going with it. You had the opportunity to learn from some great chefs and work in some really cool environments. And I know you're saying this is an opportunity, but from my perspective, this is an opportunity for me.
Wow.
And I, as soon as, we got through a couple months of getting to know each other at the Barrel, and now we've been for a few years.
They were rough. Right?
Yeah.
There were some rough.
I was going to say, had to make sure you're going to work out before we got too close.
Well, we had to clean stuff up there.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
But no,
Every time I saw Evan, I was scared.
yeah, they thought every time that Evan showed up, he was just firing
He's
someone.
going to fire somebody.
Yeah. But no, the opportunity is ours, and once seeing what you can do, you've learned under these guys, and now, in my opinion, it's your turn to to build, and I want to be a small part of that, like whatever piece I can play in helping you develop that, because there's folks coming into the trade that want to learn from you, and you have a lot to teach.
I do love the idea of training people for the new generation. Definitely,
Yeah.
I do. And every time I hire somebody, I hope that's the one that's going to take over my job one day.
Yeah.
Sure. And I like to teach them everything I can to be successful. That's
awesome.
what I want. It's not just for me; it's for everybody. It's
Yeah.
for the company.
Yeah.
As for the restaurants, for the future of the restaurants, and just for the future themselves. They have to be better than when they start with me. That's my motto for sure.
It's impressive. I've seen it.
Well, and you can't be everywhere at once. So if you've got, folks at the Barrel or folks here at Mexican Oak or whatever future restaurants to come, you've got to have good people underneath you. And if they don't, train well underneath you don't train them well enough. We've seen
And
multiple times at any business. This
Yeah.
goes for any business. If you don't train the people that are helping you out, then they're not going to do it the right way.
Right?
Yeah, they gotta have passion.
Yeah.
The passion for whatever they do in life, right?
Yep.
Whether
Yeah.
it's AC, whether it's sales, whatever. But if it's cooking, I hope that they have the passion so I can pass it through them. I can see it. And,
Yeah.
they get excited about it, learning how to cut a fish, learning how to simmer something, learning how to chop an onion for crying out
Yeah.
loud. This is just,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Not to cry, right?
It's- yeah.
Not to cry.
Well,
That's the way to do it.
It's one of the coolest things I see. So we have food runners, like, on nights where we're really busy. Like I say, it's every night, but our Monday nights, our Thursday nights, our Friday nights, our Saturday nights, chefs got these 15-year-old food runners out there, and they're peeling potatoes and they're learning some different techniques, and it's like,
right?
yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. Well,
it's cool to watch.
Again, and I guess sometimes they don't like it, but they get to come back the next day and say, "Oh, I told my mom that I was peeling potatoes, and she was so excited about it." It's
Yeah.
like, well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Wait until you learn how to do a crudo.
Yeah.
Wait until how to open an oyster.
Yeah.
That type of deal.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to learn. I mean, I always joke about my hotel restaurant degree, but I had to spend a certain amount of time in the kitchen, and I've not to call my wife out, but fairly creative when it comes to making dinner when there's only a few things around.
Are you saying she's not?
Yeah, no, sorry, babe, love you, but listen, if I've had that experience where you're kind of in the kitchen. You're like, okay, what can I throw together? What can you throw together real quick,
right.
or what are you going to put together? And you just kind of have to get creative with it and stuff like that. And I think that's good for some of these people to learn young.
To learn a little bit of it,
So they're not just making peanut butter and jellies all the time.
Right.
Like,
I
Yeah.
don't remember who said this, but that's like embedded in my brain. Somebody said that every kid in America should have their time working at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whether it's the front of the house or the back of the house.
Yeah, I agree.
And I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, they can learn so much in life
Well-
from this.
I'll tell you what. I
can't wait for Brandon's kids to
yeah,
start.
just cleaning the dishes.
No, I think Baker, he's already run through the kitchen wearing you out. That's my 6-year-old who's kamikaze. But no, I getting into the space and seeing everything that goes into it, and then really looking at how we source stuff. I have such an appreciation and have gone down wild rabbit holes now, and you've unfortunately had to listen to me on some of them, but on how important it is to really think about what you're eating. Like it's if you think about it fundamentally, you're eating something that had to pass, not necessarily even an animal, it could be a plant, it could be whatever, for you to enjoy it. And it's like, there's a lot to that. And I think that in our society where it's so easily accessible to get a burger or get a hot dog or get whatever, we often lose what we're actually doing. And if you zoom back, 200 years ago, the whole life was built around your ability to hunt and gather and then have food and a feast and spend time together and celebrate your hunt. And that's what's so inspiring and cool about doing these restaurants, is that they're designed, even from the floor plan of them, to be a community spot where we can take pride in what we serve, we source it correctly, people can be confident in that, and then more importantly, we can share it with the community.
Exactly.
And that's what this place is going to be too. And I'm super excited, to come here to Denton. This is going to be, a step up for us. It's a bigger,
A bigger community.
Bigger footprint.
I want to say a bigger lease.
It's a bigger lease, bigger footprint,
yeah.
bigger kitchen. Everything's bigger, right?
Yeah.
In Texas, right?
But-
In Denton.
Yeah. But I think that we have the opportunity to really be good stewards of the space and of the city. And, our goal is to come in and figure out how we can contribute to Denton, and not just from the food scene, but, we want to be involved with the ongoings with, I know that the Halloween stuff is going to be huge here, and we want to be involved with that. And, we just want to be part of the community, and we want to be a hub where people can come and get a good meal and share a laugh,
And
maybe
and
a
jobs,
margarita.
and get a job.
Yeah.
Why not?
And get jobs.
Just get a start in your career here. At
Yeah.
the Barrel, for sure.
Yeah.
We want to help everybody.
And there's a college nearby, so I'm sure there's going
And
to be
they've got-
a lot of people that need jobs. And
Yeah.
if I don't know if they have a hotel
do.
restaurant degree like OSU did, but this would have been, and when I was in Stillwater, this
Yeah.
would have been a sick place to come work.
Yeah, no, UNT has a great one, and we need to get, and we will get involved. So if anyone from UNT sees this,
Listen.
we'll give you our contact information. We would definitely like to be in touch with you guys so that we can, help develop in a little way,
Right.
the future of restaurants. And so,
I don't know. Like he said, I don't know if they have a culinary degree in there, but I mean, we love to teach, to try to train
yeah,
new chefs. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Give them the opportunity to get their feet wet and learn.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah,
they can
on
do
hands
that.
experience
That's
is
right.
the best. Like you can follow the menu as much as, or the recipe as much as you want, but nothing teaches you better than just having
Right.
someone stand there and go, okay, do it this way or not this way.
We're gonna do this for 2 minutes. We're gonna do that for
Yeah.
3 minutes, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna boil all together. Whatever that is. But yes, we love to help everybody. There's
Yeah.
They wants to learn, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that's
Well,
why
and
we're here.
and we're spending. Hopefully, you guys realize we're spending a lot of time on the kitchen focus here, and a lot of that as a chef. But there's also opportunity in the front of the house, whether you're a host or a food runner or drink runner or a server, which I got to give credit to the servers. That is one of the hardest jobs there is. To do it well is really, really challenging, because I don't know that people often think, but when people come in to eat, you're getting folks from every walk of the area that with different things going on in their lives, and
Yeah.
they just want to enjoy a good meal. And going and being able to
Read
be
it.
to
read it.
Yeah, to read what's going on
what's
and to
going on.
provide
Yeah.
that experience, because ultimately hospitality is about providing a good experience to someone and taking care of them. You learn so much, and I was a server at El Chico in Highland Village.
yeah.
Yeah, for, I don't know, maybe a year in high school. And that was, I credit some of, my personal development to that job, because it's hard. When people are yelling at you because, their fajitas are undercooked or whatever the thing,
Yeah.
you learn how to, communicate with people. And I think we're at a time right now where we're so into our phones, and now you've got AI communicating and you've got all these things. It's hard. A lot of people are coming up not learning the skill of just communication.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's so much to learn. Everyone, in my opinion, should go through the experience of being a server at some point, just so that you can kind of learn those skills.
Right.
And so that's an opportunity here too, is to develop from that standpoint.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it in the hospitality is learning how to not take things personally, because, like you said, everybody's going through. Everybody that comes into the restaurant as a customer will have had something go on in their day before they walk through here. And it could be good, could be bad. You just don't ever really know. And so It
You can
seems
generally
like,
tell pretty quick.
yeah, you can tell very quick. Sometimes it would happen, at least in my experience whether it be at the hotels or at the restaurants or whatever. It's someone that's having a bad day is just going to have a bad day. So as a server or whatever it may be, sometimes you just can't take it personally. You just got to kind of like be able to brush it off, which is hard when you start, but eventually you kind of get used to it.
You said it right. It's nothing personal. You try to give your best,
Yeah.
but if they did not receive it,
Yeah.
don't take it.
We always say like some people are just going to have a bad
Right.
day and
Well,
you can't make everybody happy, but
And if you can just make their day like 5% better,
yeah, just a little bit better.
just improve
Yeah.
their situation. That's the goal.
Just by bringing the margarita in time. That's all
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a little better. That might
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a little bit of alcohol helps, I guess. I guess for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, let's talk about the, we're talking about the food and the menu here. I know it may be a little early, but
Yeah.
No, I can.
give us the
So-
inspiration, because for those of you, hopefully you can kind of see the vibe a little bit from here, but it's very, what do you call it? Baja Sur, something like that?
I don't know.
No, really. I think I like to call it a little bit of like the menu all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm from a city that is a hub for all kinds of food. Everybody comes to Mexico City because they're looking for a job, looking for a better life, looking for whatever. And when they come from all corners of Mexico to the big city, they bring their food. So it's a big melting pot of different types of food. So that's what I try to bring here.
Yeah.
A little bit of everywhere, from everywhere in Mexico. Whether it's dishes from Yucatan, from Veracruz to the northern Mexico, to Monterrey, to New Mexico. We have a little dish that's going to have New Mexico chilies on it. So that's what I tried to bring to this place. A little bit of everything from all over the place, because Mexico is huge, right? Just like United States.
Yeah.
And you're going to have
Yeah.
different foods from all over the place. Well, I'm going to try to bring the best dishes here with the best sauces, the best possible ingredients to make that happen.
Yeah.
To make that happen here. Not everybody is the same. Not everybody likes, the red hot salsa,
Yeah.
You like it hot, he likes it cold, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to please everybody by having
Yeah.
a little bit of everything in the menu.
We'll have a lot of seafood, some
We're going to
steak,
have some seafood. It's going to be more steak-based.
Steak
We're going to
based.
have a big live wood grill by the tortilla machine.
Yeah, I saw that grill. That thing's awesome.
So
Yeah.
we're going to be cooking a lot of steaks and a lot of fajitas on
Yeah.
it for sure. Because
What kind of wood?
that's the northern part of Mexico.
What kind of wood are you going to use? There's a lot of probably grill guys out
Well,
there.
it is oak.
Mexican oak.
Just kidding.
No, we're gonna use all kinds of hardy woods like oak. We're also
Yeah.
gonna use fruity woods like pecan.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Just we're in Texas.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
here. So we're gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Well, let's talk about one of the battles that we have on the
Okay.
menu. Okay.
Maybe they can help us.
Yeah, they
Yes.
can help us.
Is this
with
what I think
No,
it's going to be?
Is it
This is my
queso?
thing?
Is this queso?
Yes.
Yeah, queso driven.
okay.
So here's a battle.
Queso
Here's a
driven.
battle I lost, and I'm gonna
He's not heartbroken.
admit
either.
my
He's not
defeat.
heartbroken. He's not.
Well, it's interesting because every Tex-Mex place that you go into, which I think obviously as Texans we've been very conditioned with Tex-Mex.
There's my favorite burger place now, Hat Creek, has queso. Like you can get queso anywhere.
Queso is a staple in the Texas.
Haystack. All these burger places. Yeah. Queso.
But it's not truly authentic, is it?
Authentic Mexican, no.
No. And so our battle was like some of these really high volume chainy places or some of the things that we've seen around the area. They're built out with a very basic queso, a very light chip that cracks and you end up with
Don't
just
you
stuff.
hate that?
I hate it.
Don't you hate that?
Well, it's not.
That's
It's
my,
not.
yeah,
when
you got to
take
have a
your
good, strong chip.
and your queso, and then you
Queso.
I'm gonna call it queso.
Yeah.
And then it just cracks.
Yeah.
And
Now-
you ended up with queso on your fingertips.
Oh yeah, you're
right?
just doing this action and licking and.
licking and all
Well,
that.
you just get more of it.
But
yeah.
I don't think
love
the
it.
person next to you
No.
sharing the queso live.
No double dip in the queso. They're never allowed.
I definitely double
Listen,
dip the
I'm not
queso.
going to have the true
Yeah.
queso, Texas queso here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have a type of queso.
Yeah.
It's called queso fundido. And it's going to come not with processed cheese, like traditionally,
Yeah.
queso is processed cheese.
Yeah, you know
Velveeta,
what that's what I agree. The queso for me was my mom taking 2 cans of Rotel and a big block of Velveeta and throwing it in a crock pot.
Yeah.
And you stir it, and that's
And if
what you got.
and if you're getting real fancy,
Yeah.
we would add some like
Onion?
ground beef to it.
Oh,
yeah.
Or sausage, right? Some of the
Pork sausage, yeah. That was like that was like once a year, Super Bowl or whatever. Like you didn't get fancy other than that.
We're not gonna get that fancy. We won't get that fancy. We are gonna have, like I said, we call it queso fundido with some stringy cheese that comes from the southern part of Mexico. It's called queso Oaxaca. I'm sorry. And then we're gonna melt it with Monterey cheese, which comes from the northern side of Mexico. So we will have a queso, if you will, but not your traditional Texas queso.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, it's melted
okay?
cheese. That's
No,
all we're looking
hey,
for here.
That is a compromise.
As long as you get those fresh, I think the fresh tortillas
That's what makes
is
it
what's going to make it. I don't care how melted it is. Like just put it on the fresh
Do
tortillas.
you know what chef had to do to get this tortilla machine?
Have to sneak it in.
No, I wish we could bring it up here. It's awesome looking. I want one at my house.
Thank God we got it before the tariffs went into
But the
effect.
tariffs went down. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But it was.
Well, what'd you do? You have to run down there and grab it?
I went down to Mexico.
He went down to Mexico.
I went to San Luis Potosí, Mexico, which is the central part of Mexico where they're famous for tortilla making.
Yeah.
And we pick up the best one for us, I brought it in. And it's ready to go. We can't wait to get it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's great. It even matches it's green,
the
matches the
color,
tile.
right?
So yeah,
So
it's
come and
awesome.
see it.
So
Looks great.
here's a funny story. So chef goes to Mexico. He gets this tortilla machine. We get it shipped up here, and it's in the back of his truck. And he's like, "Will you help me grab this thing?"
Oh.
And I'm like, "Sure." It can't be. It weighs like 1,000 pounds. I don't know. It's super heavy. But we pulled it down, and I'm wheeling it across the I don't know if you've been to the square, but if you've been to the square, there's no parking anywhere, so you generally park very far away from the front door. We're gonna have to figure out a solution there. But I'm wheeling this thing down the middle of the street, and I hit a pothole.
Oh.
And the whole tortilla machine, whoop.
Oh my gosh.
Chef's like, "Are you serious? I got all the way from Mexico. I couldn't get 10 feet."
I do was relieved it was him.
Yeah.
And not me.
Yeah, could have been a lot
It
worse.
could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's okay.
man.
It's okay, people. It's okay. If we're gonna still making tortillas,
As long as it works.
Yeah.
It works. It will work.
Let's talk about one thing that I've definitely been in your ear about, and I think it's reflected here. Is I'm personally someone that is very much against flour. Okay, so which sounds crazy because flour tortillas. I mean, you'd go to what was the Blue Goose, and they'd have the tortilla machine, and you'd eat a bunch, 1,000 tortillas. You feel terrible after, but it was delicious when you did it.
Very good.
So I've gotten stranger, I guess you could say, and as I've gotten older in these rabbit holes of food, and I am generally against most of the flour that comes from the U.S.
Well,
It
is because it's processed flour.
Yeah.
It's not. It has all the chemicals. They bleach out flour or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is bad for your tummy. It's bad for your digestive system.
Yes.
And that's how people develop, illness.
Yeah.
Towards that gluten part.
Yeah.
So
We got some good flour coming.
I'm not doing flour tortillas.
Yeah. So
I'm doing corn tortillas. Corn tortillas. Furthermore, I'm doing 2 kinds of corn tortillas: blue corn tortillas and a white corn tortilla. So we're gonna have the 2 kinds of tortillas in there. Where I grew up, or where I was from, Mexico City, they didn't have flour tortillas.
Really?
Really. Flour tortillas
Are they still fluffy, or is it like what I think of a
fluffy.
corn
No,
tortilla?
they're
Like,
fluffy.
yeah. Oh, I can't wait to try
Once
one
they come
of
out
these.
of the griddle, they're going to be nice and fluffy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So flour tortillas are eaten more in the northern part of Mexico, along the border. Along the border, that's why they're so popular in the States, in Texas.
Yeah.
I have nothing against that. I mean, but I, like I said, I only know flour tortillas.
Yeah.
They're made with white corn,
Yeah.
yellow corn, or blue corn. Blue corn is the more fancier tortilla, and that's what we're going to have here. It's just because it's what do they call that? The grain is
for the corn,
for the corn. The kernels are
more juicy.
Well, yeah, but they're actually not treated with chemicals. and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. They're not. Yeah, they're not as sprayed.
So they're going to be a very healthy.
Well, it's they may at this point still receive some pesticide and that stuff. Like that's just part of the process right now. I think that's changing. But the flour undoubtedly does have issues. The whole process of enriched, creating enriched flour is a problem. And so we've tried at our restaurants. We're not 100% away from flour by any means, but we have tried to bring in, organic flours and things like that to try to minimize, or I guess do our small part, to help contribute to more responsible farming and things like that. And
Right. We try to stay away from those bleached flours for sure.
Yeah.
We're trying to
Yeah.
do a better job sourcing
So-
the right flour, the right items for us. I'm not saying my cuisine is gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
It's not definitely gluten free because I use some stuff to add extra flavor to
Yeah.
dishes for
Yeah.
sure. I try to stay away whenever they ask me not to, But I mean, how can I make a gluten-free chicken fried steak?
Yeah. Sometimes you just sometimes it has to be in there.
Right.
you know?
Sometimes it does.
There's no way
Sometimes
around it.
Or gravy, how do you make
Yeah.
gravy
Yeah.
without, the
But whatever, I think you're using as clean of ingredients,
Yeah.
as organic of ingredients as you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm listening, to us to talk about this, and it's not we're not selling the. Hopefully, people will realize we're not selling the traditional Tex-Mex, right? We're not.
We're not.
It's not that we don't have options for those that just crave a flour tortilla. It's just that it's not in any of our dishes. We will have an option, but it's not something we're pushing on, and we're not hanging our hat on and saying,
Yeah.
check out this flour tortilla.
Well-
We're doing stuff the right way.
And also, we're in Dallas. There's a lot of Tex-Mex restaurants. If you
Yeah.
want to go get a traditional,
Tex-Mex.
melted queso and whatever
And
else,
dip some flour tortillas in it?
Yeah.
and dip those thin chips in there. By
Yeah.
all means, it's there, right? But this is going to be a little bit more of I'm going to
traditional.
call it traditional, maybe
cuisine. Yeah.
elevated experience. I think just even based on the space, it's going to feel more
And
elevated.
believe me, you will not miss the queso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you're here, do not miss the queso.
Yeah, try the fundido.
Our queso fundido will be
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of other appetizers that are going to
Oh,
be
yeah, we got
phenomenal.
plenty.
So
we're gonna do oysters. We're gonna do sopes. We're gonna do all kinds of deals. Empanadas.
Yeah.
That might not sound Mexican, but they are Mexican.
Yeah.
So we are gonna have choice.
whatever that little toast, was it a tostada thing we had with that wine dinner
It was
that had
that-
like the,
that meat on
Pastry.
top.
no,
There was a salmon pastry that was bomb.
gosh, what was it? It was just like a flat corn tortilla and then it had some
And they have
braised
the
pork or
braised-
something
there
on
was a
it.
braised short rib on it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the sope with
Good
short rib. That's
night, that thing was delicious. I would have eaten
No,
80 of
Brandon's
those.
talking about that French dinner we had.
Oh,
we
man.
had that salmon.
That's the next restaurant.
Yeah.
We're gonna do French. There you go.
Let's get,
We're gonna
get
do-
this one going
Oh,
first.
yeah. And then, but yeah, definitely, we'll do some French cuisine, definitely, for sure. But yes, we're gonna have a little bit for everybody, even for the kiddos, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking to that, that's something when we first were talking about the concept here, I guess the steps here were, one, we liked the location of this. We loved the space, very fast backstory there. This was the old Barley and Board spot. And my wife and I would come here for anniversary dinners when it first opened for the first couple of years. And we loved it. What they
Yeah.
were doing was new, and it was, a closer version to scratch food than what we'd ever experienced. And the whole experience was great.
The bone marrow. I remember you came
Yeah.
somewhere where you were talking about the bone marrow. That was your.
It's the first time I'd ever had it.
Yeah.
And then I took a shot out of the bone. But yes, it was the first thing. But it's when we were talking about the concept here and what we could put in here, we wanted to make sure that we didn't come in with a product that is, unapproachable to everyone. So, we do like to say that it is an elevated experience because, we try to create an ambiance that's nice, that people want to feel good in. However, and this is the challenge we've run into, but we've worked through it, is we want to have a menu that's approachable by everyone. Whether you have $5 in your pocket or you have an endless budget, there's something for everyone here. And that's really hard to do. But what's really cool about Mexican food is that you have the opportunity to serve everyone. You can come and get a really high-end steak. You can also get a couple tacos.
Yeah.
Right? You can get a house margarita and some tacos and be out of here for $12 or $15 or whatever it is. And so, that's what's important to us. And we've seen it at the Barrel. We do that with like our burger night, right? Where we do $10 burgers and $5 martinis on Monday nights. And it's like, this is something cool because everyone can come in and enjoy.
Yourself. Enjoy that nice place.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ambience, the pretty
Yeah.
restaurant, for
Yeah.
sure. That's what that's when we get back.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So
For sure. We're gonna have, little dishes. We're gonna have big dishes. We're gonna have people for vegetarian. We're gonna have everybody, everything, a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about the menu more, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But so we've talked a little bit about the appetizers. We're doing oysters, which I know sound a little bougie, but they're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
But
We're gonna have some nice sauces. I mean, we're gonna do oysters like they do it in Sinaloa, which is they do some sauces on it. Like they do, they call it salsas negras. They call it. We're gonna have some crudo, which is also a Sinaloa part. We're gonna do some shrimp from Veracruz, Mexico. It's gonna have that shrimp cocktail type of deal.
Yep.
So we're gonna have a little bit of everything on it. We're gonna do enchiladas. Yes.
Yeah.
Not opposed of enchiladas. It's not a Tex-Mex thing. It's a true Mexican dish, enchiladas. We're gonna have short rib tacos. We're gonna have pickled cactus tacos. I mean, we're gonna have things from all over the place.
yeah, I love it.
For sure.
Well, I saw it when you sent me the first draft of the menu. I was like, "Yep, just no changes. This is perfect. Let's roll with it."
Yeah, I don't know if it spells
Are you
correctly,
getting-
but yeah.
Are you getting some stuff? I mean, outside of the tortilla maker, are you getting some stuff brought in from Mexico, or are there any things that you're having to get special?
There are actually a lot of things here from Mexico. From the skulls on the walls to the lights over here. I mean, so there is very authentic items here.
But food-wise,
Food-wise, definitely. No, we're gonna work with what we have here. We're just gonna bring those peppers. They come from
Some of the
from Mexico,
peppers
Some of the
and- yeah.
peppers. The guajillos, the anchos, the jalapenos. Some of the stuff. That
I mean,
comes
being in Texas, we probably get a lot of stuff
from- yeah, it's closer.
easier to,
Can you imagine opening a restaurant in
Like
India,
Wisconsin?
in
No,
India,
like
in
Napa.
India, like in India, there is Mexican.
Yeah.
That would be a problem.
That'd be a problem.
You did that.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. And
Chaos.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
Bringing.
Yeah, they have a lot of spices and
bring
flavors over there, but not the same
$100
ones.
cans of jalapenos over there. It was
Yeah.
not right. It was
Yeah.
not
No,
right. But you know what I mean.
I think that. So it's interesting the way I think about the food, Evan. Your question is really good. How much are we bringing in from Mexico? Well, here's the reality. The further the food is traveling, I think that's the least good it can be.
Yeah.
And no knock to it. And only because, I think food loses some of its nutritional value. It loses some of its freshness. So like when you guys are out in Napa, for example, or we are out in Napa, like we did a couple of those nice dinners, people don't realize we're getting that fruit and those vegetables right from there.
Right.
Yeah, it's fresh.
And
Yeah.
you can tell a difference. And so what's really cool about this is we're bringing recipes from Mexico. And we're sourcing stuff more local.
Yeah.
And it's neat because I think what you're getting is the best quality product, grown, as in close proximity as we can get. Now, I think we can do a better job, just in full disclosure, of trying to find local farmers for some of the beef products and things like that. Very hard to do, especially to support something at scale.
Yeah.
But we are, that's what we were working towards. At the Barrel, we partnered with Heart Brand, I think before they were even in the Kroger's and stuff like that. But Heart Brand was fantastic. It was, all the beef. We went and put our hands on the cows and went down there and saw everything that's going on. And the same thing is true here. We want stuff that's responsibly raised. I know that gets overused, but we're like when we go and we partner with, for example, like our beef provider, like we're going to the farms. You went down there.
I didn't go with you guys on that trip, not
You
to
didn't?
the cattle one, no.
Man, you go and you see exactly what you're bringing in, and that's so important.
Right. It is we're gonna try to bring the staff that is in truck no more than two times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once it goes to the actual vendor,
Yeah.
and the vendor to us. That's
Yeah.
how we're gonna try.
Yeah.
If we can source people that local people that can just bring it straight to us, definitely. I'm all for it.
That's always great. It's just hard to,
Right.
sometimes hard.
Well, that's some of the rabbit holes we've been down, and kind of what opened my eyes was we've been to we went to like a supplier of seafood, and you went with me. We went and toured this deal. So this is not the distributor, but this is kind of above it. So you have the supplier providing to the distributor, providing to the restaurants, or the grocery, and so we go up to the supplier and we're watching this fish, and I was blown away. It was one I learned a ton. Chilean sea bass, we learned a lot about some crazy
items.
some crazy stuff. But watching that,
Alaskan halibut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's flown the same day, but
Yeah.
you won't get it until the following day. So you know what I mean? But it's actually fresh. It was swimming a day ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago or whatever.
Yeah.
fish.
So when you watch those, I mean, those shows are popular too, like the fishing shows. So that's actually, they're catching that fish and then it's getting sent out.
It's a logistical nightmare. Like if
Yeah,
you think
right.
about it, And now we're on a little rabbit hole, but I love this stuff. This is what we went into. We went to the seafood place. We're watching all this stuff come in and out really, really quickly. But what's crazy is that you start talking about the logistics, because we've had, how many conversations we had about how do you freeze the fish? Is it actually, fresh fish?
Right,
Is it
fresh fish.
because like you're out on a boat, okay? You're hundreds of miles offshore in some cases, many cases.
Well, let's take Chilean sea bass for
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say Chile is caught in Chile, right? And way in the south cone of America, right?
Yep.
Of the American continent. Can you imagine actually to bring it all the way to the States fresh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no
From a
joke.
boat
To a
to
plane.
to a plane
Yeah.
to a place to
I
get
mean,
it
they're
out.
miles. They're
Yeah.
miles and miles out,
Yeah.
out of the shores, So there's not really actually a day
Right.
fresh.
Yeah. It's so finding those solutions is challenging. And that's something that we have done. Like we don't talk about it all the time, but
Yeah.
we keep looking at what our options are so that we're not providing some, frozen bag of wings that you're throwing into a fryer and serving to someone.
Yeah.
It is that. And that's the same stuff that will be here. It's wild when you watch the logistics of some of this stuff. To get the right partner with it, crazy.
Well, I think you can taste the difference. too.
Hugely.
I mean, that's a big thing.
Hugely.
When you're going to a restaurant that's just all pre-made, pre-cooked, they're just heating it up versus
Yeah.
Versus
From
actually
Well,
preparing
yeah, preparing
was
it from
it-
scratch. Yeah.
What was it? There were two fish that we specifically honed in on. One was the salmon that came in, and there was the pen raised salmon, and there was the actual wild caught salmon. These fish look completely different from one another.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. They don't even look like the same
flavors are
fish.
different. The flesh in the fish is totally different.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. Everybody thinks salmon's pink, right?
Yeah.
Or supposed to be pink, or supposed to be red, or orangey.
looking,
Yeah.
Yes, pink,
Yeah.
orangey
Yeah.
looking, yeah. Well, all depends on what they eat, honestly. To be
Yeah.
honest. When it's farm raised, they're all gonna look the same, right? But if you go straight to those wild caught, they're eating shrimp or they're eating, stuff around the crabs or whatever, the skin, the tone of the actually meat changes.
Change.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
To red, to vibrant red or whatever. Go to Alaska, to Canada and get all those wild caught salmons.
Yeah.
The flavor is
Incredible.
Good. Yeah.
It's incredible. And it's wild what people have done in terms of mass producing and mass farming and stuff like that, and what that translates into to food quality and things like that. And like I think people get sick because
because of that.
Because of some of
what
the
they eat,
unresponsible
because
stuff
what
that
they
goes
eat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to feed them, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the fact that they're caught and in the ocean or whatever doesn't mean they're not free range.
Yeah, right.
They're still within the net. They still have to feed them because there's no one. It's thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
Of
Oh, yeah.
fish
Yeah.
They do that. So they feed them and sometimes their food is not treated right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just have to watch out for.
And that's where we have to have pride. So we'll kind of wrap this up with the space is something we're proud of. So we want to create a beautiful atmosphere for people. The kitchen is something we're proud of. We've put a lot of time and money and sweat into getting it.
Little bit.
Yeah, and into getting it right. And our food products are something that we're very proud of. And I think it all is necessary to get behind something that you actually believe in, as opposed to just how do I serve someone something cheap, charge a ton for it, bad quality, all that stuff. Like we just can't do that, and we don't do that. And that's our underlying values.
Right.
And every restaurant that we do, from here forward, assuming there's more,
There will be.
Yeah.
we'll follow that same philosophy. We'll try to create
That's our motto.
That
That
should
should
be
be
our
our motto.
Yeah, just do it
Should
right.
write it somewhere.
Yeah, we should.
Just do it right.
Just do it
Yeah.
right.
do it right.
Just do it
Hey,
right.
can you get us some shirts?
Yeah, I'll get you some shirts.
Just do it right. Well,
Just do it, but then right. So it's Nike, but just do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, that's I appreciate you. This is it's cool to get you on here and do one
Yeah,
of these.
thanks for jumping on, Chef. This
Thank you very
just so
much.
everybody knows. Again, just we're Denton Square, right?
Yep.
Denton Square, downtown Denton, Mexican Oak.
Yep.
And we talked about the opening dates, but I'll let you kind of throw them out there because I forget. But
Well, that's the
tentatively, we'll say tentatively.
No, I think that what we'll do, we will have friends and family, our Barrels Court Club members. We're going to invite some groups through here that will hopefully be patient with us for the first few weeks to get our steps of service down and our everything around that, and then we'll open up to the public shortly thereafter. And we're targeting the end of May. So originally we were trying to hit this thing by May 5th. The whole idea was we were going to open a restaurant in 100 days. Turns out it's going to be about 125. So kind of missed that mark. But yeah, we're going to open this thing up at the end of May, beginning of June. Barring any setbacks that are unforeseen. And so so we're in the process. We just actually.
I was going to say the website's up for applications, right?
Yep, just put the website up this morning. It's certainly not in its final form, but it's at a spot where people can go and start applying to join our team.
Yeah.
And so it's mexicanoak.com. We'll keep working on the website. By the way, they've got to work on the little, the Spanish writing. I don't know how to.
I'll help out.
Okay, thank you. That was a doozy on the website, but
I'll help
no,
out.
we're close. So end of May, beginning of June, this thing will be rocking. One of the things that we've got here, we've got a to-go window. For those that don't know,
Talk about
this is kind of.
I was very interested in this.
Yeah. So we took out what was part of the dining room and we converted it into a to-go window in the front of the restaurant, which is unusual. And we will have, margaritas, frozen drinks, and cocktails.
You said Denton is an open, or Denton Square, not Denton, but Denton Square is an open container, right?
Yeah,
Which I thought was interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's cool. I think it's very cool that towns are doing this. Like downtown McKinney does this as well. But you can basically get a cocktail or we're gonna do I think late night street corn. We're gonna do.
Hey, we're gonna do some
elote.
food?
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of food out of there, and so you'll be able to come up and grab
A bag of whatever.
a bag of whatever and
Yeah.
a bag
You're
of
gonna have a
corn.
brown bag all over Denton
Yeah.
Square.
But yeah, you'll be able to grab tacos or corn, but more importantly, you'll be able to grab a margarita if you want to go sit on the lawn. I mean, the most beautiful part of this is town hall right here, like right in front of us. The courthouse is absolutely gorgeous, and so there's a ton of people that like to sit and chill on the grass and hang out, and we'll have beverages for them.
Beverage for sure.
Yeah.
Ready for it.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to get in here and try some of that food, and
Yes.
place is looking phenomenal.
You're gonna be
So
invited to
kudos.
the friends and family.
I'll get the friends and family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I may show up to a few of them. I just got to make sure everything's on point.
everything is perfect.
Yeah.
But the taste is the same.
The poor guy has
Yeah.
to drive an hour to get up here.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get up here, but it's worth it.
I'll have to drive an hour.
I'm going to get another party bus. That was
awesome.
the worst part about the party bus is that when we got back, my babysitter was like, "Wait, this is when we opened the barrel story." And we get back, and it wasn't that late. It was like 11:30, midnight, maybe. I don't know, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't feel like that late. It was like the friends and family soft opening, and I brought a bunch of people from down in Dallas area, and the party bus rolls up, and our babysitter's just standing outside. We never.
Oh no.
She was like, "I have something in the morning. You guys are supposed to be back an hour ago or whatever." It's like, well, we're coming from way up north.
Jeez, buddy.
Relax.
Poor
she never,
babysitter.
Yeah, she never showed up. We never saw her again. But
I'm out.
Good
I'm out.
gracious.
it was kind of funny.
Well-
It's like, well, sorry.
I'll tell you what we learned from that. That opening was an experience. We had water pouring out of our air conditioners for the first night or two. It was a mess. Hopefully this one goes more smoothly. I think we know more now.
I think.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun.
This one will be
have
great.
everything figured out.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be just fine.
Well, Chef, thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you
And
guys for having me.
I am so excited to do this with you. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of good memories here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Love it. Thanks, Chef.
yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Adios.